Hello, big boy.
Hiya.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, congratulations, first of all, because I think that what you did in that four-part series you just finished this week was important. I think you changed people's perceptions on a very important subject. Now, can I ask you, was it worse than you imagined it to be?
What, the whole school dinners?
Yeah, the entire thing.
Situation?
You set out to change the school dinners. Did you find a situation that was a lot worse than you imagined it to be?
I think I always knew that it was quite bad, but it was the sheer scale of it, you know. I just think, like, Nora in programme 1 sort of summed it up, really. It was like the kids beautiful kids come to school at 4, choosing a burger and chips, or something equivalent, which is sort of the lowest quality possible, and they leave at 16 doing the same. And I just, it just seemed wrong. Apart from the actual product itself, which was, you know, pretty much across the board, was the cheapest of the cheap, yes. Which generally involves...
And these are our kids, this is our future.
Parts you wouldn't normally want to eat.
Well, we'll come to that in just a moment. I mean, but here we have a situation, nonetheless, which crystallised the entire thing. What is it, 37p we spend on kids?
I mean, the national average was reported to be about 37p. We're 37p in the pound.
What do we spend on, was the RSPCA, or the dogs don't spend on dogs?
Well, funny you should talk about dogs, because actually animal food has more restrictions and standards put in place than kids' food. And I just think that's typical, like, 2005 sort of...
And those kept at Her Majesty's pleasure in prison?
Double, easily double, if not 3 times. Yeah,
right.
3 times.
So we pay our kids, or afford our kids, a meal that costs half of what they get in prison. Yeah.
A rapist has got more chance of getting fed better than our kids.
What about the parents? Because they came across... I mean, it seemed to me that was one of the central problems you addressed, too. It wasn't so much persuading their children, it was persuading the parents. Yeah. I mean, did that shock you?
Yeah. It is. It's very hard to be PC and talk about parents, because I'm a parent and we all strive to be the best possible. And undoubtedly, all parents, you know, well, you hope all parents love their kids. It's just that, you know, went to a dietitian and paediatrician in Greenwich, and he was saying, you know, this is the first generation of kids to die before their parents. You know, if people could see what I see on the inside, on the outside, they would be locked up or given to social, because it would be considered child abuse, you know. Yes. The fact that they knowingly carry on feeding their kids this sort of stuff. Yes. And the sort of problem... It was when he started saying that it's quite normal for kids to come in throwing up shit because they can't go to the toilet, because they don't get any fruit or vegetables.
As bad as
I know
that.
it's disgusting, but it is disgusting. 2005, and funnily enough, I'd just done an advert for Comic Relief for Red Nose Day, and I'd just come back from a township in Johannesburg, and the school dinner in this shanty town was better than 87% of school dinners in the country of England, which is one of the richest countries in the world. And I just thought it was wrong, man, totally wrong.
A couple of things that I'd like to get your reaction on. I mean, what I found shocking was when you went up north, that the kids up there didn't even know, they couldn't identify vegetables and fruit. It
wasn't just up north.
Wasn't it?
No. Honest, because when we came back to Kidbrooke, it was sort of like 7 to 9-year-olds up north that thought, like, a bit of rhubarb was a potato, and and we went through about, in that sequence that you saw on the telly, we went for about 50 things. Probably knew about 7, you know, and they were all everyday stuff, you know. But then when I came back down to Kidbrooke, and it was 40, I got all the hardcore kids that hated me and the food and everything that I was doing. This became a regular occurrence last year. Very humbling. I got all the kind of kids that weren't into it in one room, and I just cooked with them. That's all I did. But when I went, just for a laugh, I sort of said, do you know what that is? Do you know what that is? And they were 14 to 16-year-olds, and they only kind of guessed about 3% more than the kids, the younger kids up north. But, you know, when I cook with the kids, half an hour I spent with these. And Nora, the head dinner lady, was a big character in the...
She's wonderful.
Yeah, without her, this could have never been possible. And God, what a worker. And, you know, the funny thing was, I used to get home at the weekend, and I'd have bruises up my arm, and where have I got that from? And the thing is, Nora, being a good Irish lass, she used to sort of whack me every other syllable. to mark every other syllable, she'd go, you know what I mean? And, like, slowly but surely, I'd have a big black bruise down my arm.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah. I'll tell you what you are, basically, and what came across in the television series, talking to the children, about these kids ordered this awful reconstituted food all the time. And so you thought, well, one way to show them, actually, what they're eating, how these things are made, It's a great idea.
Yeah.
This is what you did. Just have a look at this. In the documentary, too, it became apparent that the task you'd taken on took on a huge dimension with your family life. I mean, it had a profound effect upon you. And you could see that in your wife, in Jules particularly. So, I mean, is it worth it?
Well, you know, a lot of people say, you know, it's really hard to tell an honest... I mean, the thing is, in making the documentary, it was really important for us to be really fair and open. And I think, you know, the truth from my point of view is I'd taken on something that I didn't know how big it was, and I'd started it just like 15, and it got out of control just like 15. And, you know, I had to finish it. And yeah, of course, it had knock-on effects with my wife and time. I mean... And of course, all the normal pressures of paparazzi and the press, which are obsessed by me and Jules being split up, which is, you know, I couldn't... You know, last time I came on the show, I said, look, I just need to tell you this is not true. I need to say it for myself because, you know, they're constantly putting it out that we're split up. And it kind of doesn't bother me, but it does, you know? It's sort of like...
Of course it bothers you.
I get texts... My wife gets texts from friends saying, are you all right? And it's like... Fine, but you know, undoubtedly the project did have it had a big effect on my work, on everything.
But you're not going to stop, are you?
No, not at all. No. Not at all. For the last year and a half, even to my own family, why are you doing this, Jamie? No, but why are you doing this? And I was trying to explain that it's not about if you feed your kid a nice meal when they get home, sweet, lovely, but you've got to remember that is actually a small percentage. The average is actually couple of quid to go and get a KFC, a burger, a chippy, pretty much 7 days a week. Obviously, we've had 2 generations of parents, which has increased in the lower classes, which don't know how to cook. And of course, they work, and there's that extra pressure, and they're buying sort of meal solutions to be reheated, which generally contain a lot of the rubbish that they have at school. So my point was, it doesn't matter who you are, rich or poor, whatever class, even if they get rubbish at home, if they get a good meal at home, then, you know, as the nutritionist said, the paediatrician said, if they get 5 good meals a day, I won't see those kids anymore. And that's my point to the government. It's like, you know, you're happy to take the extra tax off of the women that go to work these days to support their families, but, you know, and you've socially recognised the decline in sort of family skills and cooking and stuff. So are you putting anything back into the system as far as looking after the kids when they're at school? That was my point. And
well, all right, so you've got, I mean, the situation, you've done a remarkable thing already, because you've got, what, how many schools now taking this thing?
Oh, we've just raised funding to get a pack to get in every single school in the country. Yeah. I'm going to number 10 to see Tone in about a week's time. Sure. So time is of the essence, and if you ain't got a computer, go down the old cafe and do one. Yeah. And sign up. I've got 70,000 people that have signed the petition, and you know what? The parents are very passionate about this, so I think we might be able to pull it off.
I hope you do, and everybody actually logs into your website and signs that petition. And as I said, the government have got the blueprint there. You've proven it works, mate. Well, I mean, you know, all they have to do is say yes. Jamie Oliver.
Thank you.